All right, everyone. It is a minute past noon, and to be respectful of everyone's lunch hour, we will go ahead and get started. My name is Amelia Belmonte. I'm a registered dietitian with Archimenides Group. And for today's Nutrition Bite or mini webinar that we're calling it, we will be discussing nutrition tips for travel. This session will be recorded and sent out following the meeting. It will also be posted to our YouTube channel to go back and look at it and past webinars anytime you wish. So top of mind, especially from a dietitian's perspective of what I kind of think about as I am heading out on travel during the summertime specifically, packing snacks or making sure that we have availability of that, finding fiber, starting satisfied, hydration, and sharing plates. So we will go through each of these and give out some tips on each of these topics. So starting with snacks, if you're flying domestically, chances are you'll be offered a package of cookies or pretzels or something like that, and that's about it. If you're driving, maybe you've loaded the car with snack foods that will provide some sort of immediate satisfaction, but might not be too filling or nutrient dense. So to avoid extreme hunger by the time that you arrive to your destination, whether it is flying, driving, trains, planes, automobiles, all that good stuff, it can lead to, or being extremely hungry when you arrive can lead to overeating later or choosing options that will feel a little bit more indulgent than usual. So making sure that you have some balanced snacks with you along the way can help in avoiding that. A key characteristic of a snack is that we're pairing at least two food groups together, or at least two macronutrients is what we can think of it as well. So for example, these nut packets here have some healthy fats from the nuts provided and some carbohydrates from the dried fruit. So we have two different food groups, right? Some nuts and a little bit of dried fruit, as well as two macronutrients are present in that snack. This next example here, wheat thins provide a whole grain, right, and some carbohydrates paired with a dried turkey stick or jerky of some sort provides protein, or even a simple protein shake like this usually includes some amount of carbohydrates in it as well as a serving of protein. This last example here, these freeze-dried edamame beans are a wonderful option. They are definitely a good substitute for a salty snack, but edamame beans or beans in general include carbohydrates as well as protein. So we're kind of checking two boxes with that example there. So to summarize, aim for at least two food groups, which will help prevent that extreme hunger leading to overeating sometimes, or choosing more indulgent foods, and helps to maintain energy throughout the day. It's a bummer that hangriness is not a real word, and I'm getting flagged for that. Okay, so starting satisfied. Starting satisfied, it means that we're kicking off the day with a balanced meal to help provide a boost of energy and support all of the exploring and traveling that you'll be participating in. Plenty of research shows that eating a balanced meal within the first 2 hours of waking helps to reduce excess calorie intake later in the day, helps with weight maintenance, and balances our energy levels throughout the day as well. As with any balanced meal, we want to aim for 3 or more food groups in one setting and including a balance of all macronutrients. So contrary to what we just talked about with snacks, where we're just aiming for 2 macronutrients or 2 food groups, with a balanced meal, we're aiming for 3 or more with all of our macronutrients included. So this means carbohydrates, proteins, and fats are all present on the plate. It might be difficult to find ingredients to build a balanced plate in a hotel, at a restaurant, or airport, but this is where we can kind of get creative and step outside of the box of what conventional breakfasts might look like. So for example, at airports, maybe if you're flying to your destination, you're able to find typically a store with a refrigerated section. More and more are popping up these days, even in the smaller airports, that might have a single serve yogurt with a side of a small fruit cup and an individual bag of nuts. That helps to include some protein from the yogurt, some healthy fats from the nuts, and some carbohydrates and fiber from the fruit cup. Overall, starting your day with a balanced meal helps to kickstart the metabolism so that you start utilizing energy right away, can help reduce excess calorie intake later in the day, and it's an opportunity to get in some balanced nourishment. So we can focus on including fruit or veggie intake at that point as well. It also, like I said, helps to maintain balanced energy throughout the day to help in everything that travel comes with. Finding fiber. So fiber is a very important nutrient to get every single day in a normal day-to-day. But while we're traveling, it often seems to be an obstacle for most or something that we forget about or do not include in most meals. Between eating out more or choosing more indulgent options because of the novelty of travel, right? We're seeing all these new foods, potentially we're visiting a new place or a new country. Or maybe we're perceiving that a heavier meal that might be lacking fiber will hold you over for longer. And these are all reasons that we might find ourselves in a fiber deficit. So when eating out, we can seek out fiber on the menu by prioritizing dishes that include fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds to ensure that little boost of fiber. If you find a dish with multiple of those, then that's bonus points. Oftentimes we can find high fiber sides or ask for something like steamed vegetables or a side salad if we're truly in a pinch or if we know that we've gone a few meals without some fiber in it. You might also find an opportunity in your day to have a high fiber snack, like a pack of nuts, a fruit smoothie, splitting an appetizer, maybe like a salad or hummus and veggie plate. Going back to our snack options up here, nuts and seeds, right, are a great source of fiber, and so are beans and edamame. So another great way to sneak in some fiber there. We want to include fiber because it helps to keep us feeling fuller for longer. It helps in maintaining a stable blood glucose level throughout the day. That helps to avoid the spikes and crashes that come along with blood sugar balance. It helps to support a healthy gut and bowel movements. Fiber goes hand in hand also with hydration, because some forms of fiber need a little extra motivation in getting through our GI tract, which water can help to push along or lubricate a little bit. So that being said, hydration. So whether you forget or you're trying to avoid maybe bathroom emergencies while traveling or out and about and exploring, I know that struggle. Hydration is still a very important piece to feeling good while traveling. Hydration aids in digestion. It helps convert the food that we eat into energy. So H2O is a molecule that needs to be in that process that converts all of the food molecules that we eat and digest straight into ATP, which is the usable energy that we use throughout the day. It also helps to regulate body temperature. It helps to support cell structure and cell transportation, so getting things to where they need to go throughout our body. And of course, it helps to avoid the nasty side effects of being dehydrated. We, of course, want to avoid dehydration and not feeling so great while on vacation. So dehydration often causes lethargy, lightheadedness, nausea, and headaches, and is caused by increased sweating through movement, vomiting, diarrhea, hotter temperatures, or an overall decrease in water intake. So let's say if your travel includes hiking, walking a little bit more, especially in hotter temperatures this summer, you definitely need to be prioritizing water intake. So aiming for half of your body weight in ounces is the minimum amount that we want to make sure that we're getting. But outside of that, assessing symptoms of dehydration like dry lips or dry mouth, dark colored urine, or headaches are all indicators that we might need to up that intake a little bit more. Other ways that we can focus on hydration outside of just plain water intake is to increase your fruit and vegetable intake. Use other fluids like unsweetened teas, or maybe whole fruit or mint leaves or cucumber slices in a water bottle to kind of jazz it up a little bit, like this picture shows. Sweeten plain water with a couple of ounces of 100% fruit juice. So let's say you love a little OJ or some sort of like pineapple mango juice, and that would help you to get to your hydration needs. Adding a little boost of that in your plain water can help to sweeten that up and make it a little bit easier to get plain water down. You could also, of course, rely on hydration tablets or powders if you're in a pinch or if you're starting to see signs of dehydration. Again, those subtle signs of dehydration will be dry lips and mouth, dark colored urine, or maybe just like an annoying headache that won't really go away. So if you are in that situation, using hydration tablets or powders is an okay thing to do in that moment. And trying to at least have one glass of water while you're out at a restaurant. More would be wonderful, but at least one would be a great way to start. And lastly here, shared plates. So food portions, as we all know, at restaurants are often double or sometimes even triple the recommended portion sizes that we need in one given setting. If we have a good handle on what our bodies need in one sitting and can listen to our overall hunger and fullness cues, we will likely find ourselves with plenty of leftovers, right? And if we're traveling, leftovers are kind of hard to deal with. Maybe you're not going back to the hotel right away after eating at that restaurant and you don't want to carry around that bag with leftovers. Or maybe there's not enough room in your hotel mini refrigerator to keep the leftovers. So that can cause an issue, right? Or just kind of make us feel bummed about spending the money on a dish that we aren't going to end up finishing. And if you aren't so in tune with your hunger and fullness cues, on the other hand, right, this might cause us to overeat, which can lead to feelings of guilt, physical discomfort, which who wants to feel that when we're trying to enjoy vacation, and can throw off your typical eating patterns, making it harder to get back into that nutrition routine after travel. So sharing meals while dining out can be a great way to give your body the appropriate amount of food that it needs in one given sitting, while also honoring your cravings and cutting down on leftovers that either can't be brought back to the hotel or wherever you're staying and won't end up being consumed. So a few pieces of information to think about in terms of travel, but also what that dining experience can even look like while you are traveling. Is important. And of course, travel is an opportunity to try new foods and enjoy exploration. I definitely don't want to take that piece out of it. But if you do have nutrition concerns or goals that you're working towards and you don't want the travel experience to completely throw you off or make it harder to get back into the routine after returning back home, then keeping in mind these pieces of information and tips can be extremely important in maintaining that. You should definitely not feel restricted in your food choices during this time, but again, these are ways to support your goals and ensure that you feel good, physically good during travel at any given point. So please let me know if anyone has any questions on this webinar. You can type in the chat box. If not, if you have lingering questions, my email is here, abelmonte@archamenity.com. And as I mentioned in the beginning, I will be posting this recording on our YouTube channel and sending it out to all those that registered. I'll wait a couple more minutes in case any chats come in. Otherwise, I hope everyone has a good day and I hope we take these pointers on our next vacation. Yeah, the YouTube channel link I will also put in my follow-up email. So you guys being registered attendees on this webinar are on my special list. So you'll get the actual link from the YouTube channel. So the link will be in the email. Recommended vendors, that prepackaged Any recommended vendors? So like, I think you mean companies maybe that have prepackaged that are kind of ideal snacks. Oops. It's kind of hard to say. So, I mean, outside of the brands that I gave, there's a lot, right? There's a lot of really great options that we can find for snack wise. In general, I'd say trying to again, pair at least 2 macronutrients together. So getting really good at reading labels and seeing like, oh, is this kind of a snack amount, or is this going to be a little bit more than I need? I think is the better way to go about it. Snacks are snacks, and depending on what kind of things that you gravitate towards, just being aware of what that nutrition label says. You know, if it's in like the 200 to 300 calorie range, I'd say that's a good amount of calories for a snack. So anything in there with, again, those couple of macronutrients and maybe pairing a couple different food groups together is best way to kind of assess if a prepackaged or a snack company is going to be good for you. Yeah, the dried edamame bean, there's a few different companies that do this. So honestly, if you like go on to Amazon and take a look at what they have here, let's see, this is the, well, that's kind of the O bean. It sounds like, and I've had these before. There's a few different type of snack companies that have dried edamame beans, dry broad beans. So those are like bigger types of beans. All great options to seek out. All right, everyone. Again, I'll hang out for another minute in case someone is in the middle of typing something. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day.